is Kay Esposito. I do work at Watts Bar. I have seen discrimination and retaliation by management. Watts Bar's answer is to move the managers to another department still in Watts Bar. Now, if you don't think that's going to change the chilled environment, I'm just telling you, fact how it is. I had to ask myself several times before I came here tonight, are you willing to lose your job if you speak up tonight? And that's what I want y'all to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Gary Morgan. I'm with Run Best Matter and also represent a blog. I do blogging and write about nuclear issues in the Tennessee River Valley. I appreciate the TVA's concerns as far as improving the chilled work environment, and also your emphasis on safety culture. I appreciate the NRC's emphasis, ensuring the TVA does their job in keeping us all safe within the valley. I have noticed something. I noticed y'all made a lot of mention safety culture a lot throughout the presentation, both the NRC and TVA. But of course, safety culture is not an enforceable action. Safety culture, you know, you may issue letters and say, oh, TVA, your safety culture is not doing so well, you need to make improvement. And that's what the chilled work environment letter is about. However, there are some actions related to this which may be enforceable actions. One is exactly, I would like to know how many instances of retaliation were there? Were there any instances of retaliation that TVA retaliated against employees, that NRC noted, that employees complained about? And did y'all take any action to correct any retaliatory? Because there was mention of retaliation. You know, so were there? This is exactly how many instances of retaliation? What were there? What were they? And can you answer that question?
Does anybody want to? Okay. If we take a look at that number one, I'm not going to go through all. I'm not going to, at this point in time, go through and talk about specific issues, because quite frankly, I haven't seen those issues at this point in time. When we go back and take a look at 2009 and the order that was issued during that time, I believe that came out of a specific issue, and that had occurred at Browns Ferry, and the order that was issued was given to TVA to be applied across TVA. From this most recent issue, I'm not going to comment on any specific retaliation issues, nor am I going to comment that there was or there was not. From my recollection of the issue, there was a perception that was there. And in addition to that, if there are any other issues, I don't believe we have resolved any of those cases, even if there are issues.
Okay, so there were actual retaliation instances that did take place, but you can't discuss them. Is that what you're telling me?
No, what I'm saying is I'm not going to acknowledge whether there were or whether there were not. When we go back and look at the chilling effect letter that was issued, the chilling effect letter talks specifically about the perception that was there.
Okay. Another item that, of course, was mentioned in here, corrective action programs. Are there any instances at Watts Bar that where there's any gross violations of corrective action programs, where the problems are not identified that should be identified, or the problems were identified and there was no management action taken to correct those problems? Have you all been able to, can you comment on that?
Taking a look at taking a look at the past history, there's nothing that I recall recently. Craig, is there anything?
No, any instances you're talking about, if there were any conditions that we identified that we believe should have been addressed by TVA, they would be documented, and we would document them in our reports, right? You see certain, or various times you will see criterion 16, or we'll have, non-cited violations in there in the reports. Those are, all of the ones we document are the ones we find, right? There have been none, to my recollection, that have either been more than a minor significance or more than a very low or green safety significance. But the ones that do exist, they are documented in our quarterly inspection reports.
And I think the other point to note is that we are completing a problem identification and resolution inspection this week. The results of that will be documented before the end of the year.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate that. Just one other thing, back to the safety culture, then I'll be quiet, go back over here in my camera. Right. Safety culture, the issue of safety culture being a non-enforceable action, actually. Is that an excuse? Is NRC making an excuse for not holding management of not just TVA, but any nuclear facility non-accountable? You say, oh, there's a safety culture problem, but since safety culture is a non-enforceable issue, are y'all making an excuse for upper level management, executive management in an organization not holding their feet to the fire?
I don't believe so. When I look at this, the perception that I have is the NRC has a policy statement on safety culture. And if you take a look at that, clearly at this point in time, the licensee has challenges in that area. But when you take a look at it's not enforceable, that's different than my view. If I take a look at a site that has a frozen work environment where people are not bringing up safety concerns, then that goes right to the heart of Appendix B Criterion 16, that the licensee has to ensure that they promptly identify these issues. So looking at where we are today with what we have seen, we do not, at this point in time, I'm certainly not at the far end of the spectrum. And of course, once you're at that point, then there's serious concerns that have to be dealt with by the licensee. So I don't agree with the premise that there's letters that we send back and forth and we don't hold people accountable. I look at this as it's on a spectrum, and the high point of the spectrum is the safety conscious policy work statement that the commission has. The other point of the spectrum is when the site is frozen and nobody brings safety issues up. At that point in time, then there's definitely action that we can take towards the site if they're not able to meet Appendix B.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
First of all, my name's Ann Harris, and I have a fairly short statement that I want to make concerning these kinds of issues. And for those people from TVA that don't know me, you need to learn my name because your employees know me better than you do. And in RC, I'm sure that there's enough people here to know my name that's been pointed out. And you'll have to forgive me with my voice, because I'm an old woman coming to these meetings. I attended my first NRC TVA public meeting in the last century, specifically in the mid-1980s. I kept thinking, what's all the fuss about over such a dull and uninteresting meeting? Then I heard some statements from TVA nuclear employees that I knew to be false. The NRC knew that they were untrue. Then the NRC told TVA what a great job TVA was doing and how much everyone enjoyed having the meetings. The next day I read a media report that apparently was written by an absent reporter. More importantly, TVA wrote the press release and the reporter published it as the reporter's own work. That's been about the same dog and pony show that I've seen all through the years. The dog and the pony are dead, if they were ever alive. Over the years, the names and titles have changed. The suits are the same, the logos are in the same place. Denial and promises are the same. TVA has never changed the letter to the NRC saying how much better TVA would do. I can still recite the boilerplate in my sleep. New names appear at the TVA helm with a new set of lobbyists over at NEI. Lobbyists can never hide themselves where money and power are in place. Corruption Incorporated. I see that the once good reporter from the New York Times has taken a seat with a lobbyist. That's sad. But money talks, fear talks even louder. Also sad is the fact that NRC commissioners continue to send its representatives out to face a growing opposition to new power. New names for the industry will never change the fear and deadly reality that America and the world have come to know. Nuclear kills. We do not need a list of accidents here. Everybody in the world knows where all the accidents are. Nuke speak is still such a remarkable denial of the reality of this nasty way to boil water. Unplanned events. Really? What lengths the industry goes to keep the word accident from the public. What a sham. Chilled environment? Now that was a new word back in the 80s. I'm almost 80 years old, and I've seen this go around and around. You gotta get some new words. Nuclear weapons materials to be increased in what's for Unit 1, and plans to move additional production over to Unit 2 also. It is still hard to deal with the two faces of this industry in our world and its dangers today. We are not an island. The world is here with us. Safety is not a priority for the NRC or TVA. If it ever becomes a priority, then these meetings will come to a halt. Continuing to shoot the messengers has never served either one of you. Taking safety serious means that both of you would have to stop abusing those that bring safety issues to you. I would not know your secrets. I know more about the warts at Watts Bar than any one of you TVA managers and NRC inspectors. That's sad. I know what you do to abuse people to keep them quiet. I just never drank that Kool-Aid fear. Time is running out for the industry. When safety becomes a top priority, I'll be the first to know it. I'm not holding my breath. Too many chances taken, too many problems not being addressed, too many bad managers taking chances and moving on when they're about to get caught. And life in a nuke power plant at TVA continues on. NRC inspectors continue on to the next dog and pony show with the dead animals. I've come to accept that the nuclear industry and the regulators have no interest in safety. It's a good game that you talk, but it's not real. I made this decision when people continue to show up on my doorstep with the same problems that I incurred during the days that I worked at Watts Bar, Sequoia, and Chattanooga. Absolutely nothing is different. I feel as if I have been in a time warp and have left reality far, far behind. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.